Good evening, everybody. I'm Nathan Stix, Chair of the Community Activities Commission. As you can see, we do not have all of our commissioners here yet. With that, we need a quorum to officially start the meeting. So we will be on hold. We still have 2 commissioners on the way. So talks amongst yourselves. We'll be back. Okay, let's try this again. Good evening. I'm Nathan Sticks, Chair of the Community Activities Commission, calling to order the Newcastle Community Activities Commission meeting of June 11th, 2025. The time is 6:07. This public meeting is being recorded and broadcast live and may be viewed later on the city's YouTube channel. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, thank you. Amy, would you please call the roll? Please note that Commissioners Forsberg and Krutzinger are absent and excused.
Commissioner Van Atta. Present. Commissioner Lee. Present. Commissioner D'Souza. Vice Chair Flash.
Present.
Chair Sticks.
Present. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, is there any objection to approval of tonight's agenda as presented? With no objections, would you show the final agenda approved as presented? And approval of our minutes. Is there any objection to approval of the May 14th minutes? Okay, with that, no objections. Please show the minutes approved as presented. Okay, next is public comment. Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to do public comment? Come on up to the podium. Tell us your name, what community you live in, and we usually give about 3 minutes. Is that enough time? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Ashna Sikka. I'm an incoming senior at Liberty High School and I'm going to be turning 17 soon. So, I've worked with the Issaquah Schools Foundation as a student trustee over the past year, and the biggest thing that I've noticed is that having student voices present in discussions that involve school systems or just community events in general is not just valuable, but also bridges so many gaps present in our community, and it makes it significantly easier to directly connect with schools and the youth in our community without these extra steps. So, since I've worked with them to accomplish very many things, and given that I'm interested in pursuing law and politics, I wondered if local governments had similar institutions. So I found that programs such as the Issaquah Youth Advisory Board and the Renton Youth Council work within our community to incorporate youth voices into their decision-making and community event planning, but the only thing I could find for Newcastle was the NYCE, a program that no longer exists. So I wanted to take the initiative to establish and lead a Newcastle Youth Voice Committee, which, as I've just passed out, I've drafted a timeline, application, and role description for. And you can see on the outline that a group of 6 high school students, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, and 2 seniors, would meet regularly and also attend the general council meetings. To get the program started off the first year, I'd like to interview incoming sophomores, juniors, and seniors, but in future years, students would be interviewed after a written application at the end of their freshman year, and after they've been selected, they're guaranteed the position throughout their high school years, given that they actively contribute to the program and follow correct conduct. So, some of the group's roles would be organizing community events, aiming for at least 3 a year, gathering insight from various groups of people, and providing a different perspective within city council meetings. When decisions need to be made involving schools, the group will gather and offer points of contact for the city council, and they'll also act as messengers. So in terms of outreach and togetherness, I'd like them to focus on organizing events within the community, and some possible ideas that I thought of were open mic events or dessert potlucks, possibly at Lake Bourne Park, but that can be discussed with the committee once it's formed. So overall, I think my main reason for presenting this to you is because I just think it's something the community could really benefit from, and it's something that's very important to me. I think youth leadership is something that I've poured a lot of time into, and with your help, I think that this can be reasonably started over the summer. So I'd love to provide you my contact information, and thank you so much for your time. I'll take any questions at this point. Right?
We'll take your consideration under advisement
Great, thank you so much.
and definitely need your contact information.
Yes, I will. Can I provide that at the end of the meeting, or I can do that now? Can you give me? Okay,
We'll get it at the end.
thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to do public comment? Okay, public comment period is closed. Next, we have commissioner comments and celebrations. Does anybody have anything they would like to share? And with that, I will. I walked through Lake Bourne Park today, and it's exciting to see the cover over the stage, the lights being installed in the parking lot on the water trail, or the water line, knowing that our summer events are about to kick into gear, and seeing the park get all cleaned up and ship shape for our events this summer. So shout out to Public Works. Okay, we'll go right into reports. Amy, you want to go through events and recreation report?
Certainly. Since, in the interest of time, and since all the information is in the packet, I won't go through everything point by point, but I do want to call your attention to the information on Newcastle Days. We already have a very healthy, over 20, I think it's about 25 the last time I checked, vendor booth applications, which just opened last week. So very exciting. We're already registering quite a few car show registrants, way far in advance. So that's very exciting about Newcastle Days. Are there any questions about any of the information in the report regarding summer sponsorships, fireworks on the lake, concerts in the park, or Newcastle Days? Alrighty. Well, feel free to reach out should you have questions after the meeting. And just a reminder about our programs, summer camp registration is still open, and I did want to add that since then, the fall programming for Skyhawks has gone live on their website, adding pickleball for the very first time for youth, and far more opportunities for our preschoolers ages 2 to 5. We've been trying out some soccer tots program, but this fall we'll be offering basketball tots, flag football tots, and soccer tots as well. And then a reminder that the next volunteer newsletter goes out on the 20th, and the same thing. If you have anything that your organizations, your liaison organizations need to get the word out on, please get that to me by the end of Thursday of next week. Any questions on the program information in the report? Alrighty, and with that, I did want to congratulate the Hazen Highlanders who graduated at noon today, which, as Planner Hutchins knows, I watch live stream to see my son sing. And then Liberty graduates tomorrow, and Newport High School graduates next week. So congratulations to all our community high schoolers, as well as those who attend schools not of those 3 schools.
Thank you, Amy. Ed, why don't we go into Arts Council?
Sure. So this last Saturday, we had a wonderful event at Lake Bourne Park. We did rock painting, and we generated some extra rocks to put in the rock garden at City Hall. So if you happen to walk by, check out some new rocks that may be there soon. Future events, we have a Painting with Pastels event on June 17th. We have our art fair, annual art fair at the Commons on July 19th. If anybody's interested in volunteering for that event, we could certainly use some help. And again, we'll have quite a few artists there with displaying their artwork for sale. We have art and chocolate dipping on August 9th. And then we are accepting applications or submissions now for our fall art exhibition, which will run the month of September at the Newcastle Library. The deadline for that is July 15th, actually July 20th, sorry. And as long as it's a hanging median, the fall one is for ages 16 and up. So we're looking for some great art to display at the library during that. And lastly, we're doing some repairs on the bottle cap mural at Lakebourne Park. So if anybody wants to collect and donate some colored bottle caps, we could certainly use some more to help with the repair. So if you do have them, you can reach out to the Newcastle Arts Council at newcastlewaarts@gmail.com. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Christian is absent this evening. She usually does Historical Society and Chamber updates, so Russ is here tonight, so he's going to do a little presentation. He'll probably give us an update on what's happening in the Historical Society, so we'll get back to that, Russ, when you go your presentation. Allison, anything going on with Newcastle Trails, even though Newcastle Trails is here tonight?
Newcastle
Thank you,
Trails
Gary.
is indeed here. Thanks, Gary, for being here. Although I was not able to attend, Trails hosted a Lakebourne walk this past weekend and Saturday, and I understand, again, I wasn't here, but I do understand that it was fairly well attended and very enjoyable. And I look forward to joining Trails on a Zoom meeting call next week. And as we can see by information in the packet here, there's some things going on with Trails.
Okay, thank you, Allison. Connie could not be here tonight. In her absence, I went to the library today. And if you're a child in Newcastle right now, I can tell you they have a lot of events coming up. So I'm going to just go through them very quickly. I'm not going to give dates and whatnot, but I'll have all that in our packet for our meeting recap for council. Chess for Kids and Teens continues through the summer. There's My Summer Wellness Toolkit, which is coming up on Saturday, June 21st, 2 p.m. Summer Library Story Times. So throughout the summer, they've got family story times and toddler story times, and I'll publish those dates and times. Ed, I saw something about the Draw Like Georgia O'Keeffe on Tuesday, June 17th. So there's a event at 5:30 p.m. at the library. And there's another thing called Reading Buddies, that's every Tuesday from 5 to 6 p.m. For grade school kids and elementary kids. Vietnamese family story times, and I'll publish those dates and times because they go throughout the summer. And then last but not least, Tech Help for Seniors. So Saturdays through June and August, a couple dates, and I'll publish those to help seniors with technology. So a lot going on at the library.
Hey, can I add one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
The Friends of the Newcastle Library is having a silent reading event. Hold on, let me pull up the details. It's Thursday, it's at the Coleman. It is, hold on. Sorry, I should have this already, but I was waiting for Friends of the Newcastle Library. Thank you, 6:30. It's for 6:30. And it is, supports the Friends of the Newcastle Library, 6 o'clock, silent reading, social time.
Give a date?
It's on Thursday, this Thursday.
This Thursday.
Tomorrow.
That would be tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're watching, that'll be tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And donate $20 and get a free dessert, compliments of the Coleman.
Wonderful. And with Shally being absent, we will not have a YMCA update. Okay, that brings us to our first general business, Newcastle Historical Park, and Russ Segner is our guest this evening. Russ, come on up.
Thank you and good evening. It's been a long time coming, I think, to get to see what we're seeing at the park. I drive by there about every other day just to check and see what's happening. How many of you have actually driven that corridor since it started? Okay, well, I urge everyone to periodically swing through there. It's a very extensive development. They've moved an awful lot of material onto that site. And when it's done, it will not be recognized from what it was 2 years ago. In any event, we've been keeping in touch with the development group through Brendan, And we look forward to it moving toward eventual transfer of that property to the city. When that occurs, then we'll have a much more active role to play, we think, with the city, whatever the city devolves or decides to deal with in terms of interaction with the groups, and not just the Historical Society. I'm sure there'll be others. But in any case, we're looking forward to that. With regard to the development itself, they're working on some of the details of the park around the buildings that have been moved. And then that will include the installation of several interpretive signs. And in that regard, we've supplied them with photographs and material that they're incorporating into the signs. A major focus for us is where the green shaded area is here, is where we anticipate a memorial for the miners that are part of our very important history. We've anticipated that, and had a lot of discussion about this, whether it comes to pass, I don't know. But the idea would be to have an interpretive exhibit on the site, and this is the area immediately south of the Bima House, where a trail that will come off the top of the storm water vault, will wind its way down to the ground level here in the foreground. And there's an opportunity, we think, to install a fake mine entrance. It would basically just be a facade of what the mine might have looked like. And there's one photograph which we provided. We have several others, but we wanted to do something that would be incredibly simple, easily maintained, and not expensive to build. It would flow into the information that's on the interpretive signs nearby. We have a coal car, actually we have two, so we would probably site one of the cars in that mine entrance or near it, or between it and the Bima House, and so on. But that's really up to the development team and the city as things move forward. Now, I'm not in touch with the schedule in a sense of what they currently think will be a delivery date for the completion of the project. I'm assuming it's going to be out there 2 to 3 years, perhaps. So it's a long time out there, but we're ready to participate with them. Other activities we've been involved with include an event a couple of weeks ago with Eastside Heritage, where we hosted over 3 days several groups of students, grade school students from Somerset Elementary in Bellevue, in the area of the Red Town Trail, the old diggings of Coal Creek. And we had about 130 or so students and parents there to do interpretive walks. We had 4 locations that they walked to over a span of each one had about a half an hour. We had somebody designed to do interpretive work with them, answer questions and so on. Seemed to be pretty successful. It's early in the morning. The kids have still got a lot of energy. Most of them were quite energetic. It worked pretty well. We have scheduled an informal work party at the cemetery on the 18th that doesn't involve city staff or anything like that. And it will be for just a couple hours. And this is being handled by Bob Boyd. On the 28th, we have a formal public involvement in the cleanup at the cemetery, and that's been in the public information ahead of July 4th. We plan to have people there on July 3 for people coming to the July happenings at Lakeborn Park. And we'll just be there with tables to hand out information and answer questions, because we routinely get questions about when can we see the cemetery. So we're taking advantage of the foot traffic that will come down 129th. It's really considerable. And over the last several years when we've done this, we've had upwards of 140 to 150 people just drop in. Some will want to walk around quite a lot. Others just want to kind of take a look, and then they're really amazed at what they see. I compliment the city staff, the effort that they make, and I'm working with a couple of our volunteers, Steve Bima, primarily in cleaning up all of the debris from the storm that we had earlier this year. I know you've got a lot of how many parks do you have to deal with all the debris from all the trees and so on? It's a lot of work, and so on. So that's basically my report. We have not too much planned for the rest of the summer. Looking forward to Newcastle Days and so on. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, I can speak for the commission. We're very excited to be working more closely with you and Brendan when the Lima property becomes more, we need to get more involved in that as the construction progresses. So we're excited about that.
We have furniture that came from the original areas that will fully furnish that house. And a piano, a number of large items that are stashed in various homes that we have. I'd like to get my garage back as an example, so would several others. So we will be ready and so on. The other thing I would mention, you all have noticed the display down in the lobby as you came in. It was put together by Mike Itlikofer, our collections manager. And it's amazing how many items we have in our collection, which is quite extensive. Okay.
Thank you, Russ. Any questions for us?
No, I just want to say thank you for being responsive. Like selecting a day like July 3rd for the cemetery to be open is a great way to provide opportunity for people who are just naturally in and around the park that day. So I think that's a really nice opportunity for getting people while they're in the space to get up and appreciate the cemetery and see what's there.
They're always amazed when they start walking around. And we keep finding grave sites under about 8 or 9 inches of material. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Russ. All right. Kim, update on fireworks and concerts.
Sure. Nathan has a couple potential sign-in sheets. Right now we are moving forward. We're getting music ready for fireworks, putting together a playlist. If you have any favorites, please email me. And we are considering the opportunities available for volunteers. We're hoping to have a couple people in the tents, at least one per, and we broke the sessions into 1-hour sessions. And because there are so many sessions and opportunities available, we'd like to ask the council and the planning commission to also sign up if they're available to take a space that's a high traffic, as I just said. It is a high traffic time in the park and a great time for council members and commissioners to meet our residents and provide support to Amy and the public works staff who will be busy around the park. We also have the signups for the concerts. And you'll see we need at least one in the tent, and a second one is optional just because friends are always fun. So if you can sign up for when you have availability, that's great. There's also these Excel spreadsheets because you may need to go home and check your calendar. These are in the CAC SharePoint under fireworks and concerts, and they've been named very specific names, so you'll be able to find the files when you need them. And I can send the links too after this meeting. Let's see, we have, as Amy's notes indicated, the concerts, we're working on kind of the food vendors. They're mostly procured, it looks like. And that's kind of the gist of it. We have, Amy, I noticed you'd said that for activities, I know we kind of tossed a couple things around, but you have some specific things that you're detailing? Great, perfect. Do you want to share?
Would you like me to share? I mean, I don't know how much of it we want to make a surprise for the community or not.
True.
But I can
True.
certainly speak to the themes. As you know, the CAC subcommittee put together themes for each of the concerts to give a story to the themed activities this year. And as you see in my report, that 3 out of the 4 concerts those activities are sponsors. So sponsors have chosen an add-on for those. So the first step, Between Two Gregs, is the Love Local Night. As you might recall from last meeting, Between Two Gregs is a locally residing and band that grew up in this area as well, or members grew up in this area as well. Regency will be the sponsor. As you know, they're also the hosting our volunteer appreciation event. So we're going to do some sort of drawing to appreciate volunteers that night. We are aiming to get food vendors that are Newcastle based or very closely locally based, and all of our activities will highlight either Newcastle or Newcastle area groups. One thing we did discuss, since it's out there, is bringing back those coloring maps. And certainly all of these nights will have a themed dress. So the dress of the night is anything Newcastle. 7:30, July 30th is our Eras night because we have a 70s glam rock Diamond Star Halo. And so all of the dress theme of the night will be a decades based, but we're also looking at basically some sort of art and craft activity for the picnic shelter and some sort of hands-on activity for the upper, or demo for the upper picnic shelter, and then something else going on the lawn, some sort of drawing to bring people over to the tent. But again, I don't want to go too far in and spoil it, but it's all around decades and eras. And then August 6th is the Pioneer Squares, which is going to be Team Spirit Night. So anything Team Spirit goes. So if you want to wear your particular team, like if you're a Husky or a Coug, whatever you want to do, you can wear your team spirit. And again, we have spirit-based activities going on, arts and crafts, demonstrations, hands-on stuff. And then finally, our last concert, Two Story Zori, is on August 13th. It is beach party night, and again, everything is around there, and it's beach wear, which is safe for a park, not necessarily the beach. Unless you plan to wear a lot of sunscreen, which you should do so anyway. So there are the themes of the night. But again, I don't want to go too far into the activities, and we will be unveiling these week by week and promoting them. But again, we want to keep some surprises for the community.
Yep. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns?
And you say the sign-up sheet's going to be on our SharePoint? Or is
Yes,
it on the
sign-up
SharePoint?
sheets on the SharePoint so you can check your calendars and report back.
All right, thank you, Kim.
Mhm.
Okay, next thing on our docket is discussion of the comprehensive plan amendment for Sylvan Park. Staff has done, I think, an excellent job of giving us a recap. So again, a little background. Newcastle Trails submitted a proposal at our last meeting to include a new park concept, informally called Sylvan Park, in the city's comprehensive plan. The proposed site is located near 2 trail stubs and is adjacent to an HOA-managed property where a previously requested easement was denied in 2019. Commissioners, I hope you've had a chance to review the background information from staff. Are there any questions that we might have for Brendan while he's here? Any comments?
I appreciate the report, and seeing the answers to the questions we had. That's really helpful.
Nothing else? So I think based on the recommendation from staff, we would like to proceed with what staff is presenting to us, that the Sylvan Park concept does not need to be included in the comp plan. We'll treat it as a separate one-off standalone concept that we can work on. Newcastle Trails can work on with us at a later time. We know that where's my notes? That one of the things that Newcastle Trails had asked for could be handled by staff to get that into the comp plan, which was the Cougar Mountain Trail. And that would be our recommendation. Okay? Is everybody okay
Yeah,
with that?
the only thing I would add or request is in the memo, it mentions that the city's working on some alternatives in the area, so I just appreciate being updated on kind of where we're at on that over time, because has been identified as something that's of importance.
Yeah, and if I may too, I want to just kind of highlight the next steps of, in that same vein, before really finding an exact spot that might be a good location, because we don't want to completely rule out Sylvan Park. That could be the perfect location, but in kind of talking through this process, it has highlighted that we should utilize the Walkshed map to our advantage a little bit more. We have kind of like the base right now, but if we include some new parameters, this could be a really helpful tool to hone in on exactly where would be the most impactful. And we're thinking that we could, in the future, once we've found locations, that we could potentially have parks run those through the Walkshed analysis and see how those make an impact. And maybe Sylvan Park is exactly where we need to put one, but we just don't know without running a little bit more of a comprehensive kind of data-driven review of it. So, and we'll keep you guys apprised of that as we move through all of that.
Well, some good thought went into this, Brendan, so thank you very much for this. Yeah, this is great.
So, Chair Sticks, I just want to clarify for the record. So what the commission is recommending is, or not recommending at this time, is for Sylvan Park to be added to the comp plan in this amendment cycle.
In this amendment cycle,
Okay.
correct. That was the request, right? Okay. Moving on, summer sponsorship status. So this will take 2 seconds. I told you at our last meeting that the subcommittee had the subcommittee had identified 102 businesses, local and within proximity of Newcastle, of which 26 are actually going to be contributing to our events. To date, we are now at 48,500. 97% of our $50,000 goal is in. So we just need 3 more $500 sponsors and we will meet our goal. But even if we don't, we're feeling very good about where we're at. So that is it for sponsorships. Any questions? Okay.
In terms of sponsorships, so the platinum, gold, silver, bronze are closed because the signs are ordered, the graphics are done. Those are closed. Where the opportunity still exists, we have one concert that can still be, the themed activities can be sponsored at $500. And then we have car show sponsorships that are also available at $1,000 each. So there's where the opportunity still exists for sponsorship, should you connect with anybody who is asking. And certainly, this is a good time to remind people if they are disappointed that the bronze level sponsorship is no longer available, that they can certainly sign up for the vendor booth at Newcastle Day, so they'll have that benefit. What they don't get is the full tent setup and the 3 months of promotions on city channels. But they'll at least be able to be present at Newcastle Days.
Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, next thing on our docket is our term expiration date discussion. So at our last meeting, we discussed that currently our terms expire July 31st during our busiest time of the season. This can be very disruptive to the commission. So to help better align our workflow, we want to consider recommending to council that we change our end of term to October 31st. We need to agree to make that request of council so that they can take it under consideration and final approval. Does anybody have any questions, comments before we ask for a motion?
I agree that it should be changed, first of all. But secondly, I seem to recall at the time I was coming on board that it was the start date, the term start date was not only Community Activities Commission, but other commissions as well. So there's a possibility that there might be some concern about it being irregular compared to others.
Agree. Yeah, that, I can see that as what might be a potential concern that they would have.
Yeah, I believe that it should be, I believe that June 30th or July 31st, the summer, is not a good time for Community Activities Commission. But I anticipate there could be a little bit of discussion or pushback because of consistency with other commissions.
So then I wonder if my offering for that would be, since the planning commission doesn't seem to have, you know, their work year is more of a flow with the city council and new council, then perhaps theirs could be changed to ours, since we have more structured due dates for summer, if that's too hard to keep track of when everybody expires.
And I'm not even sure how the dates for Planning Commission and CAC were ever decided on to have
Right.
it July 31st
Yeah.
and have it be different from council's end of term date, so.
It may have been to avoid having new council, new commissioners, you know, all
Yeah.
happening at the
Yeah.
same time, potentially. That's a guess.
But whatever we present to council, we'll give them specifics of why that would be important for us to
Yeah.
have that be considered. And then they, of course, they can take it under advisement if they want to talk to Charlie about in the planning commission.
Yep, great idea. Have it just fully illustrated why CAC is making the request.
Absolutely, that will be in there. Yep,
So would that be effective this year?
yes.
So do we have to do anything to extend the terms of those that expire in July?
It would extend it to
Okay,
October
okay,
31st,
okay.
yes.
So would the motion need to be inclusive of that language? I might suggest that just to maybe not get it hung up on a technicality. Or have that question come back later.
Okay.
That's just a wondering. Can I rough draft a motion? Do you have one already written?
I do not, and that would be fantastic.
Okay, so I would say I motion to change the commissioned term and date from July 31st to October 31st. And for commissioners that would expire this year, their term extended to October 31st, 2025. So I'll make that motion. I motion what I just said.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 So it's unanimous. Okay. We will take that official motion,
Yep, I'll write that down.
and then I will work with Amy and drafting an actual document, something that we'll send over to council, so it has some of our bullets of why we feel that that would be a good decision. Okay. That includes our general business. Is there any additional public comment? Gary?
Just a couple of quick comments. Thank you for approving the Cougar Trail. That will enable a new trail to be built by the developers of Greencastle, so we're happy about that. And also, Newcastle Trails has always been supportive of the historical park, and I can't speak for the current board because we haven't voted officially, but at this time, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'll probably send you a trail map showing all the trail connections that connect not only the planned historical park in Newcastle, but the new Swanson parcel that's being developed by Bellevue as a historical area, as well as the Redtown Trailhead, which is already a historical area. We're beginning to have a synergy of historical areas and trails connecting them. In the old days, we used to have big family trail walks with the YMCA, just going from the Y to Redtown. And I think now we can consider trail walks that involve Redtown, the Swanson property, and the historical park. And, you know, that, since you are action-oriented, event-oriented, those could become a regular thing, historical trail walks at an appropriate time, linking all these historical sites. So that's where I'll leave you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Any other public comment? Okay. Planning calendar, so our next CAC meeting will be on Wednesday, July the 9th. I will be absent from that meeting, and so Vice Chair Flash will be leading the meeting. And with that, if there's nothing further, I will officially adjourn our meeting at 6:49 p.m.